All right, good morning, everybody. Joe Van Doren here, and welcome to our Virtues Pick for today. First, I have to say, I know I missed Monday completely. What a crazy day. Um, and then on Tuesday, a big drive back and to Tennessee from South Florida, and we had to just put it up on. We had a great word though yesterday, right? And I really appreciated it. And so today, we're looking forward to our word today, which ended up being, when I shook the phone up, it came up. It was forbearance. So this is an interesting word, and one that has I don't know, causes a certain amount of confusion about, okay, what exactly is forbearance? So let's read the description and we'll talk a little bit about, let's just see how it resonates with us today. Forbearance is patience, fortitude, and acceptance under trying circumstances. We tolerate hardship with good grace. We quietly call on our self-restraint. We are long-suffering in situations that we cannot control. We do not allow the trials of life to steal our joy. We extend forgiveness and understanding to others, knowing that we all have flaws and frailties. We are forbearing with ourselves, humbly mindful of the times we fall short, ready to move forward to try again. Forbearance is the mortar that keeps our relationships resilient and strong. So, what a great word. And sometimes, there's so many of the virtues have, cousins, shall we say, things that are very, very close. And so sometimes we think about forbearance and we think about patience. And even though they're similar and there is patience involved in it, forbearance goes, I think, just another step beyond that. And I was thinking about that today in regard to our ability to let go of those things that we cannot control. So there's some things in our life that come up. We all have them, and we try our very, very best to control. But everything that we try to control is really us putting up resistance to something that we have no control over. And many times the things that we're trying to control are things that are not ours to control. And I think that makes it makes life difficult. It makes it so that we are not as happy with our life. We're not satisfied with our life, and we're not and we're demanding that others, many times anyway, we're demanding that others do things to make us happy when our happiness really comes from within. And that's something that I've been working on quite a bit, is not to be dependent on what other people do to determine whether I'm going to be joyful, whether I'm going to be happy and satisfied and grateful, and all of those things that that just simply make us feel so much better. And so it does begin with forgiveness, as it mentions here, our ability to allow others to make their choices and to deal with the consequences too. I think that's important. But it also helps us, I think, forbearance, when we're willing to be patient and when we're willing to wait and see. Sometimes that helps us to gain a better understanding. It helps us to gain, what would we say about that? Empathy. I think that's probably a good word for that situation too, where, if we react too quickly, then, sometimes we find ourselves doing and saying things that later we find out were just not appropriate. And we do it with, not just with others, but it starts with ourselves. So that's being accepting of the circumstances that we see and that we're in, having that patience and that fortitude, that strength. And fortitude is a virtue also. So that's one, when we get done here, when you go back to our page with the 100 virtues listed on there, you might just check out, how is it, and I think this is something that I'm going to do this morning too, is I'm going to go back and reread the description of patience, fortitude, and acceptance, and just see how they play into that forbearance, because I know that for me, especially right now, I've got a lot of stuff going on, and it is very easy for me to get overwhelmed. And so I just need to step back a little bit and not allow the circumstances that I'm in to overwhelm me to the point that I lose my joy. If you've ever been in that situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just encourage everybody to use this virtue of forbearance so that we maintain our joy in life. I think that's a very interesting way. How do we teach our kids about forbearance? Boy, that's a big one. I think it starts with teaching them about patience, and then giving them the strength to have fortitude, and along with patience also, and I think finally that acceptance part, because that's probably the harder of all of the things, maybe acceptance, because we want to be in control of things. We want to make things happen the way we want them to be. But when we are more accepting of each other and of ourselves, of who we are, and accept our own frailties, our own weaknesses, but also recognize our strengths and recognize that we have our own set of skills and talents and strengths that make us who we are. When we're able to do that, I tell you what, life is a lot better. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I find I'm able to do that better than other times. So I would go back, if I wanted my children to gain this virtue or to grow this virtue of forbearance, I think I'd go back and start with patience by, inviting them to demonstrate their patience and showing them how, and to let them see the reasonableness of patience, then give them the strength that they need to do so, and then work on that acceptance thing. That's my thoughts about that. I don't know. Maybe you have some thoughts too, but I do know one thing. I know that this quality, this virtue of forbearance does help us to have a more joyful life. All right, everybody, that's how I'm thinking today. Thank you so much for being here. I am thrilled to say to you that we are working together to practice all the virtues and to bring out the best in ourselves and in our children. And we can do so especially by practicing the 4 C's of successful families, and that is clarity, communication, consistency, and community. Until next time, bye.